Everything you want is about to appear all at once. My friends, the truth is far simpler than you have been led to believe. Everything you want already exists. It is not waiting to be created. It is not hiding in some distant future. It is here, now, waiting for you to see it. The world you walk through is nothing but the reflection of your inner conversations, the quiet imaginations you rehearse day after day. You believe yourself to be subject to circumstance, but in truth, circumstance bends itself to your state of consciousness. When you feel lack, you meet lack. When you assume abundance, abundance rushes to greet you. There is no delay but the delay of your own acceptance. The moment you embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled, creation is complete. What you call tomorrow is only the shadow cast by what you assume in this moment. Everything you want already exists now. This is not a poetic phrase or a hopeful comfort. It is a law, an eternal truth woven into the fabric of existence itself. Desire is not born in you as something separate from its fulfillment. The very moment a desire arises in your heart, the reality of its fulfillment is already created. You would not even be capable of wanting it unless, on some level, it already existed for you. The desire is the evidence of its reality. Just as the seed contains within itself the full-grown tree, so too your longing contains within itself the complete manifestation. What you call the future is nothing more than the unseen present. What seems far away is only invisible to the eyes trained upon lack, but it is fully present to the eyes of imagination. Consider this carefully. When you imagine, you are not conjuring something unreal. You are tuning into what is already true in another dimension of consciousness. That which you see inwardly, that which you feel as though it were already yours, is not make believe. It is the most real thing you will ever touch. The outer world you call reality is only a shadow, a delayed reflection of what has already been accepted in the unseen. The house, the relationship, the opportunity, the health, all these things already exist in the eternal now. The only question is, will you align yourself to see them, or will you continue rehearsing the absence of them? When you walk outside at noon, the stars have not disappeared. They are shining in full brilliance, though your eyes cannot see them in the brightness of day. In the same way, your desires are shining right now, complete and present, though your senses may be too distracted to perceive them. If you accept the senses as final, you will say, my desire does not exist. It has not come yet. But if you trust the higher vision, you will know that your desire is here, already accomplished, waiting only for your recognition. Every desire is a doorway into an already established reality. To desire is to glimpse what is yours. You cannot want what is not possible for you, for the desire itself is the proof that it is done. If you yearn for love, it means love is yours. If you yearn for wealth, it means wealth is yours. If you yearn for freedom, it means freedom is yours. You cannot desire something that does not exist, and you cannot desire something that is not already woven into your being. The seed of the oak tree cannot dream of becoming a rose, and the rose cannot yearn to become a mountain. What you desire is not random. It is the call of what already belongs to you, echoing back to your consciousness, asking to be claimed. So the truth is simple. Everything you want already exists now. It is not waiting to be created. It is not sitting on some distant timeline. It is not hidden in tomorrow. It is here in the eternal present moment, waiting for you to awaken to it. Your work is not to create, not to struggle, not to beg. Your work is to recognize, to accept, and to embody the reality that has been yours from the very beginning. Circumstance reflects inner assumption. The world you see around you is not separate from you, nor is it an independent force acting upon you. It is the mirror of your inner state, the silent projection of the assumptions you carry within. Every condition, every event, every person who enters your life comes clothed in the pattern of your beliefs. You are not merely a participant in the world, you are its cause. What you assume as true in the secret chambers of your mind inevitably shows itself in the light of day. This is why two people can live under the same sky, in the same city, even in the same household, and yet experience entirely different realities. Each one moves in the world of his own assumptions, and the world faithfully bears witness to those unseen convictions. When you believe yourself to be limited, the world will present evidence of limitation. When you carry the assumption that others are against you, the world will reflect hostility. But when you accept within yourself the assumption of favor, opportunity, and love, the world rearranges itself to echo back your inner vision. Circumstance is not a tyrant dictating your life. It is the obedient servant of your inner posture. If you do not like the reflection, do not fight the mirror. Change the image you hold within, and the reflection must follow. Notice the persistence of your inner talk. Every day you repeat to yourself countless statements about who you are, what you can have, and how the world works. These statements may be quiet, barely noticed, but they form the structure of your assumptions. If you walk through life saying to yourself, "Things never work out for me," then circumstance will oblige by playing out that script. If you say, "I am always blessed, everything falls in my favor," circumstance will just as faithfully play out that script. The world cannot contradict your assumption, it can only express it. This is why effort without assumption often fails. You may work hard, struggle, and push against the tide. But if within you lies the assumption of failure, all your labor will circle back to confirm that inner stance. On the other hand, when you assume success inwardly, the smallest action becomes magnified. Doors open without strain, and the path unfolds with ease. Circumstance bends not to effort but to assumption. The key lies in daring to assume the state of being you desire before there is any outer evidence of it. The world will protest, your senses will deny it. But if you hold steadfastly to the assumption, the outer must eventually conform. The soil cannot resist the seed that has been planted. It must bring forth after its kind. Your inner assumption is that seed, and the circumstances of life are the inevitable harvest. No matter how stubborn the field appears, no matter how barren the land may look, once the assumption is planted, the reflection must come. Circumstance is plastic to the mold of consciousness. It has no life of its own, no will apart from the imaginal acts you persist in. To change the world, you must change yourself. To change yourself, you must change the assumptions you hold as natural, as obvious, as unquestionable. What feels real within will become real without. Every encounter, every condition, every seeming accident is but the echo of your own inner speech, returning to you clothed in form. Feeling the wish fulfilled is creation complete. The moment you allow yourself to enter into the state of having what you desire, the work is finished on the unseen level. You do not need to struggle, force, or beg for its arrival, because the act of assuming the feeling is the act of creation itself. Everything that follows in the outer world is merely the unfolding of what has already been established within. The senses may tell you nothing has changed, but the inner world is the true cause, and once the cause is set, the effect must follow. To feel the wish fulfilled is to step into the version of yourself who already possesses the desire. It is to think, act, and respond as though the dream were already a fact. When you dwell in that inner state, you are no longer a seeker, but a possessor. The vibration of longing, of hoping, of waiting is replaced with the quiet assurance of completion. Just as a pregnant woman does not question whether the child exists simply because it is unseen, you too must live in the certainty that what you have conceived in imagination is already alive. The feeling is the proof, not the outer evidence. Creation does not require time, it requires acceptance. Time is only the space it takes for your inner state to harden into fact. Once you have reached the point of true feeling, where the desire is so natural it no longer feels distant, the seed is planted. You may continue about your daily life, but something irreversible has taken place. The assumption has been impressed, and it must express itself. Doubt and fear may tempt you to return to the old state, But if you persist in the feeling, you will see its manifestation. Feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. You can repeat affirmations endlessly, but if they do not carry the feeling of reality, they remain empty words. You can visualize scenes, but if they do not stir the conviction of already being fulfilled, they are idle images. The power is not in the repetition, but in the acceptance of the state as real. One moment of deep feeling can accomplish what years of empty effort cannot. When you feel the wish fulfilled, you cease to live in separation from it. You no longer stand outside of your desire, reaching toward it. You stand inside it, looking back as though it had always been so. This shift in perspective alters everything. Conversations change, decisions change, even the smallest actions carry a new quality, for they now arise from the state of fulfillment. And because the world is only the mirror of your state, it cannot help but echo that inner completion. This is why the feeling of fulfillment is the only true act of creation. The blueprint of your life is not drawn in struggle or strain, but in the invisible realm of assumption. When you surrender to the feeling that your desire is already yours, the universe has no choice but to conform. The end is secure the moment you feel it real, and the outer world must, in its own perfect time, reveal the reflection of the state you have dared to occupy. Stop asking when or how, live in the end. The endless questioning of when something will happen and how it will come about is the very force that keeps it away. To ask when is to admit it is not yet yours. To ask how is to place the burden of manifestation upon the reasoning mind, which was never designed to be the creator but only the servant. The outer world is not your master. It is only the shadow cast by the state you occupy. The only question that matters is this: are you living from the end, or are you living from the sense of waiting? When you live in the end, you bypass the tyranny of time. You do not look for evidence of progress, because you are already standing in the reality of completion. To live in the end is to step into the version of yourself who has already received the desire, and to act, think, and feel from that place. It is not about pretending or hoping. It is about shifting identity. If you desire abundance, you no longer ask how the money will come, nor do you watch the calendar for when it will arrive. Instead, you clothe yourself in the feeling of already being provided for. If you desire love, you do not ask when the person will appear. You assume the joy of already being loved and cherished. The questioning mind will always resist this. It thrives on control, on planning, on knowing every detail before it can rest. But the secret of creation lies in surrendering those questions and trusting the unseen process. Seeds do not sprout because you demand to know the hour of their growth. They sprout because the life within them is inevitable. In the same way, once you accept the end within, the process of unfolding is guaranteed. To continue asking when or how is to dig up the seed and doubt its existence. Living in the end requires imagination to be more real to you than the evidence of the senses. It means rehearsing inwardly the satisfaction of the wish fulfilled until it becomes natural. It is not forcing, but resting in the conviction that it is already accomplished. The outer world may present facts to the contrary, but facts change, states are eternal. If you persist in the state of the end, the facts must bend. To live in the end is to reverse the usual order of thought. Most people believe they must wait for evidence before they can feel the fulfillment. But the law demands the opposite. You must first feel the fulfillment, and then the evidence will appear. The world does not cause your state causes the world. By asking when or how, you confess that the world is in control. By living in the end, you reclaim your true power as the creator, and you let the outer take care of itself. Every time you ask when, you push the desire into the future. Every time you ask how, you place limits on the infinite ways it could unfold. But when you live in the end, you allow the desire to exist in the only place it truly can. The present moment. You dwell in it, you walk in it, you breathe in it, and by doing so, you make it the only reality you know. The harvest appears suddenly, all at once. What seems to the reasoning mind like a slow and gradual unfolding is, in truth, a sudden shift in awareness that crystallizes in outer form. You may feel as though nothing is happening, as though your prayers and imaginal acts are falling on deaf ears. But behind the scenes, the unseen is aligning itself perfectly. Just as the farmer may watch the soil day after day without seeing any sign of growth, you too may look at your world and wonder if the seed has been wasted. Yet when the time is right, the sprout breaks through the surface, not in fragments but in fullness, and the field once barren bursts forth in harvest. This suddenness is not because creation was incomplete before, but because manifestation is always the final stage of what has long been finished in the invisible. The world of appearances lags behind imagination. The moment you accepted the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the harvest was secured, though hidden from your eyes. To the senses it may look as though months or years pass, but to consciousness the fulfillment was instantaneous. When it emerges into visibility, it comes all at once, as though overnight, because the outer world catches up in a single sweep to the state you have been dwelling in. Life gives the appearance of continuity, of gradual change, but closer examination reveals it is punctuated by sudden leaps. The child grows quietly day by day, and then suddenly everyone notices how tall he has become. The fruit ripens slowly within, and then one morning it is perfect, ready to be plucked. The same principle governs the unfolding of your desires. The assumption you have persisted in matures quietly in the unseen, and then at the appointed hour, it bursts forth, not in pieces but in fullness. This is why patience is necessary, not because the desire takes effort to create, but because the senses deceive you into thinking nothing is happening. The law never fails, and the harvest never misses its season. Once the inner seed is planted, the result is certain. The form it takes, the timing of its appearance, the chain of events that deliver it. These are not yours to manage. They happen in ways that often defy reason, so much so that when the harvest arrives, it feels sudden, as though it leapt into existence from nowhere. But it was always there, ripening in silence, waiting for the moment of revelation. Many abandon their desires too soon because they cannot see the hidden work being done. They grow impatient, uproot the seed, and declare the law does not work. Yet those who persist, who rest in the knowing that creation is complete, witness the marvel of sudden manifestation. One phone call, one meeting, one letter, one encounter can shift the whole landscape of your world. What seemed impossible a moment before becomes undeniable fact in the blink of an eye. The suddenness of the harvest is not a trick of fate, but the natural outcome of assuming the end. You dwell in the state, you live in the wish fulfilled, and then one day, without warning, the outer aligns in an instant. The barren field becomes full, the long wait collapses, and all that you have held in imagination stands before you, not in fragments or drips, but in completion all at once.